Hey everyone, welcome to a match of Temur Rogues. Today we are playing red-green Ponza. So opening hand is it's all right. We have one land, but we have two Serum Visions, we have a Mishra's Bauble, we have a Traverse. So a second land drop is almost guaranteed. Plus we're going second, so we have a draw, and we have Noble Hierarch. Generally speaking, you want to put Noble Hierarch down turn one. In this case, there's a Birds of Paradise, though, so removing Birds of Paradise is more important than ramping ourselves. If our opponent is playing Ponza, which I didn't know initially when I started the match, but you could get a hint from the game, from the turn one play. You definitely don't want them to ramp into a turn 2 Blood Moon or something, especially since we have greedy land drops at the moment. Now, one weird thing I did in this matchup for some reason is I didn't play Mishra's Bauble on turn 1. It's something I usually do, even though since it was in my opening hand, but it is what it is. It would set us back an extra card draw by one turn, but yeah, so it looks like we're trading removal right now. We have an island, which means we can secure a blue source even through a moon effect. I think right now, yeah, we need to do Serum Visions again to dig. We don't want either. And we're going to play Tarmogoyf. It's 5/6, so it's pretty big. And we'll see what our opponent has to say about that. Nothing. They have 4 mana, didn't cast anything. My concern is that next turn they might bring in Glorybringer or some other horrible thing that Ponza plays. We have 5 card types in our graveyard, which means we can tutor for a creature. The question here is, which creature do we go for? A second Tarmogoyf might make sense, but a Huntmaster of the Fells may help us if this ends up being a bit grindy. That being said, again, our opponent's turn right now is really going to be very defining, is my feeling. If they make their 5th land drop, which they do, they pay 2 on top of it. Okay, so Chandra. That's problematic as well. So they're going to do 4 damage and a bolt to Tarmogoyf. At the same time, we're going to bolt Chandra. And that's going to resolve. Unfortunately, we'll sack at the end of the turn to get another island. We have our forest. We can play Huntmaster, which is obviously something we're going to do. Obviously. And see if he survives the turn. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand, so... okay, not 1 card. Okay, Glorybringer. So... with no answer, no easy answer to Glorybringer, odds are they're going to target our Huntmaster, exert it, and this is going to be a huge problem. Now, whether we had Huntmaster or Tarmogoyf at this point, this is going to be an issue. We have no answer for In the Air. And we top deck Steam Vents, specifically something we don't want. And we're going to attack in with it. Yeah, I'm going to attack in with a token because, I mean, what else are you going to do? And let's see what our opponent plays. All right. So another Chandra. This is an issue as well. We need to get in and do 6 damage as soon as possible. If we cast Brazen Borrower at the end of the turn and use Tarfire, we can bring our opponent down to 1. So we need to find essentially a way to do 1 more damage than we currently have. Luckily, Glorybringer was exerted, and we draw Obsessive Skinner off the top. Now, to be fair, that is a very good top deck, but it could have been literally a Lightning Bolt or something else. But that gets us the win. I kind of feel like we cheated in there, but hey, it is what it is. So this is a slightly older version of the sideboard. I have since modified the sideboard plan a bit, but I mean this is very creature toolboxy, using a rogue shell. But yeah, so what do we bring in? Some life gain. That was my idea. Mana leak to fight off a bit of their bigger creatures. So, main deck, I wasn't running any permission, so we're bringing permission in. I don't think Dispel is necessary, but Mana Leak would definitely be useful here. I guess I changed my mind on the Kitchen Finks, and I think that's correct. I mean, Ponza deals damage, but if you look at Ponza's usual game plan, I mean, the extra 2 to 4 life is not going to make a big difference. So our opening hand is good because, I mean, we have the Mana Leak, we have a threat. For all intents and purposes, this is all right. We could use Traverse to go get an island and stave off a Magus of the Moon or a Blood Moon. We draw Noble Hierarch off the top. We don't have removal for Arbor Elf, so we'll have to deal with it. Let's see what our opponent's about to draw. Birds of Paradise, I'm happy with that. You get a Serum Visions from the Mishra's Bauble trigger. Alright, so let's see what our opponent is. A Pillage. Darn. Well, that sucks. That really does suck, doesn't it? Luckily, we do have a backup land. And we do have Noble Hierarch. So, it looks like I decided to keep Mana Leak mana up. I think in retrospect I would have just gone ahead and used Traverse, get my island. At the very least, I think I'm gonna inevitably do that anyway. So I think it would have made sense to Traverse there. I think I wasted a turn because I could have traversed for an island, played the island, and still had Mana Leak mana up. So that was a mistake. That was definitely a misplay that set us back. A land drop. See, they didn't do anything that we wanted to stop, and now, I mean, we top deck a Noble Hierarch, but see, I'm doing what I should have done last turn, and this turn would have been much better. So we're essentially, we time walked ourselves by not doing that the previous turn. We have 3 card types in the graveyard, so can't tutor a creature at the moment. Let's see what I plan on doing. Again, I was probably kicking myself here because I knew I made a mistake in the previous turn. So our opponent has access to a lot of land now, which is a problem. Luckily, if they cast Glorybringer, we can counter it. But they're ramping up quite a bit at the moment, so yeah, let's see. Chandra. Yeah, they have Mana Leak mana, so yeah, not much we can do here, and I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I really am. Noble Hierarch gets taken out. Yeah. This is almost GG. Now, what I should have also done is, at the very least, tap Noble Hierarch for some mana, but it wouldn't have done anything. Our opponent would have just gone to their second main phase, and that's that. Yeah, concession I think makes sense because we're not going to get out of that. Okay, so that was brutal. We misplayed at least twice, and that definitely set us back. And Yeah, I think that's mostly it. We got to play smarter. In terms of bringing stuff in, there's not really anything else that we need to bring in. I think we sideboarded incorrectly given what we have. Our opening hand is good. We have removal. We have ramp with Noble Hierarch. Worst case, it's gonna eat removal itself. Obsessive Skinner is gonna work well with Looter il-kor if they both survive long enough. Let's see what our opponent plays turn 1. If they decide to ramp and not kill, that's good, because then we can negate that part this turn. So let's see what I decide to do. Okay, so I decide to use Serum Visions. Okay, so do we need a 4th land? No, but removal we do. So let's see. What do I decide? I could choose to remove. I could choose to remove their Arbor Elf. Or I can choose to play a threat, and it looks like I decide to play a threat instead. Okay, interesting line of play. It's not a poor line of play. I think my thinking here is worst case if they do Magus of the Munas this turn, we can just kill it, which is okay. Yeah. So I guess I smelled the Magus of the Moon and I said, listen, I'm not concerned. I got 2 pieces of removal I can use to get rid of it. And yeah, I can play my Looter il-kor. I now have 4 card types in my graveyard, which means I could make it bigger next turn, which is good. I'm definitely going to attack in with my Obsessive Skinner. Hit him for 3. And let's see, do I bother traversing? I can, because I can go get a creature now. So what creature do I want to get? Tarmogoyf can work. And I think at the moment Tarmogoyf is probably the best because it's secure mana. I can get Tarmogoyf mana easily if they kill Noble Hierarch. It's not an issue. So I'm gonna target Looter il-kor, add a 1/1 counter to it. That's 2 damage they can't block every turn, and we're gonna be looting each time. Let's see what we're gonna be dealing with here. So our opponent has access to 4 mana. Blood Red Elf. Not too concerned about this. Let's see what they run into. Lightning Bolt. Okay. Targeting Obsessive Skinner. Yeah. Smart play. Of course they're going to attack in for 3. Yeah. That's fine. We have a 5/6 Tarmogoyf coming down next turn. And it would be prudent to kill their Arbor Elf. So let's attack in first. We're going to come in for 3 damage. Let's see what we draw. A second Tarmogoyf. At this point, I'd probably prefer being threat heavy. So I can either play both Tarmogoyfs, or I can play 1 Tarmogoyf and bolt their Arbor Elf and cut them off from mana. Yeah, so that's an intelligent play. Yeah. Whenever I can, I tap Noble Hierarch for mana when I know I'm not going to use Noble Hierarch as a blocker. This way I can still threaten some sort of permission or whatever if they decide to remove Noble Hierarch. That's usually my line of thinking. So you see, we removed Arbor Elf, and if they did have Glorybringer in hand, they would have casted this turn immediately, and they didn't because they didn't have enough mana. So I mean, we definitely had to kill Arbor Elf that turn to cut him off from Glorybringer mana. So Magus of the Moon comes down. I'm not that concerned about Magus of the Moon because we have Noble Hierarch right now. So as long as we have Noble Hierarch, we are safe. Let's see what our opponent does here. We're coming in for 3 that they can't block anyway. Do they double block? Well, I guess they can't really double block Tarmogoyf. Okay, so we draw Huntmaster of the Fells. Decision-making time. I choose to get rid of Mana Leak. Interesting. I think my thinking there is, hey, listen, I'm going to play Huntmaster and let the pieces fall where they may. I think the hedge there is that they didn't have their, their 5th land drop. And let's see if that was the correct play. So they get their 5th land drop. Now the question is, if they do end up casting Glorybringer right now, how devastating is it? I mean, what are they going to target to kill? Yeah, I think it's game over. There you go. So that was fun. That was a fun game. That was a fun match, I should say. Game 2, we completely punted. That's not to say that we lost just because we punted. I mean, we didn't have great draws, and our opponent did have good draws. I think it was a mix of everything. But that was fun nonetheless. I think these matches showed how we can maneuver relatively quickly and easily. Traverse the Elvenwald is a very key card in this deck. It kind of brings everything together. The ability to go either search up another threat like Tarmogoyf or to find a silver bullet is super important. Listen, we are a deck that play Magus of the Moon main, so when we're facing a Magus deck or a Moon deck, we're usually well positioned. As long as we have, as long as we can sniff out that we're playing a Ponza deck early on, we can, fetch accordingly, and we're usually well suited to survive that. And worst case, we run, a ton of removal, so Magus of the Moon is not going to survive very long. So yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I'm a Temur Hooting Delver guy. Temur Rogues, though, is just really fun to play. It's, more creature centric, unlike Temur Hooting Delver, which is a bit more tempo. We can go toe to toe with quite a few creature decks that go wide with Temur Rogues, and it's just a fun deck to play. It's a fun deck to master, and you get to play Thieves' Fortune, which is an awesome card. You'll see in other matches. We didn't really use it here. We just kind of used it as a discard fodder, but it's a fun card to be able to resolve, especially for 1 mana. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I got more matches where we could actually see that happen. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, I would really appreciate a subscription. This way, when every time I upload a new video, new content, you can get notifications. It helps support the channel as well. It's definitely a motivating factor for me. All right, thanks, and have a good one.